Right now, I'm learning a lot about patience. My daughter, who turns 2 in a couple of weeks, tests it all the time. I'm in a new managerial position at my day job. My employees test my patience. The Diablo 4 early access beta that happened this past weekend tested a lot of your patience when it dropped because you couldn't get in. And I would say be prepared because it will happen again during the open beta this coming weekend where everybody can download and play it. There's no limit. Sorry, there's going to be a line. And so what do you do when you're faced with problems? I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll be grumpy and I'll complain and I'll get mad. I'm human. I'll throw a little mini tantrum with myself sometimes if it's bad enough. If I'm just at that point, I don't always have patience. Keep it real. But something I've learned about getting more patience is that part of it is changing your outlook. My daughter does a lot of things that annoy me. And when I'm in my right mind, I tell myself, she's learning. She's exploring. She's absolutely testing what she's allowed to do, but she needs to do that. It's my job to make sure she's safe and she understands who's in charge and what her boundaries are. Even though she's going to test them, she's going to push them, she's going to go past them, she's learning. I don't need to cramp her growth. I need to be patient. My employees who are adults do things that drive me nuts. Oh my gosh. If you were with me, you'd be like, yo, I can understand why your patience is so tested all the time. To this day, 7 months later, I still don't know why they do what they do. But I'm working on changing my perspective. They're younger. They look at life differently. They're not me. They don't think like me. I think back to my younger days and I think about the kind of stupid stuff and attitudes I had and I did. Like we do it all the time. Those of us who are a little older. And we look back and go, man, yeah, I did some wild stuff. With understanding and perspective comes patience. And so I see so many people online who were furious about the wait times for the Diablo 4 beta. How could they do this? Why wasn't this problem sorted out before? Why didn't they have enough servers? People paid for this. That one's my favorite. People paid for this. Not because it's a ludicrous comment. I respect the idea. Some people dismiss it and say, oh, it's free. You didn't pay for it. You paid for the KFC. I mean, yes, but you don't get the code unless you pre-order or you pay for something else. Like you got to fork up some money. That's like saying I get all Game Pass games for free. No, not really. You have to pay for the access. For those who did pay and bought some KFC for access, first of all, I mean, was it good? Was the food good? Okay, that's number one. Number two, just because you paid for something doesn't mean it's going to go swimmingly. It's not going to be this perfect experience. That's not how this works. People pay for concerts. People pay for sports events. There are wait times. There are lines. You think they don't try to decrease the amount of traffic? No, they try to create the best routes for people to go in so you don't have to wait in line. But it's hard when you have thousands of people converging at one location at the same time. The same thing happens with these kind of video game events. It doesn't magically go away because it's the internet. And you don't just overbuy servers. I see that all the time. Well, they should get more servers. It's a waste of money. Beta numbers are always going to be bigger than launch numbers because when you have something like open beta, everybody can access it. You don't have to pay for it. That's always going to be more numbers because the moment you have to pay for something, that automatically decreases the numbers. So then you'd have these extra servers laying around from overbuying for a beta when you're not going to need that many at the actual launch. That's just not smart use of your money. Like, yes, okay, they're a AAA company. They can, sure. But you can't blame a company for being smart with their money. Like every business should be smart with their money. Big events cause big traffic. When you buy your ticket to the concert or the sports event or whatever crowded thing you're going to, the first thing you think about is how you're going to beat the traffic. You don't want to miss any of this thing. And yet, here we are in Diablo 4. I took off work to play this. What a waste. Why didn't you think about that before? Folks, we've been doing this for at least a decade. Destiny players go through it pretty much every season. Yes, internet infrastructure has improved, and yet we still have wait times. Like, at some point, you have to face reality. Games that require an online connection, let people play with other players, they're coming out for the first time, spinning up for the first time. You're gonna have long lines. You're gonna have to wait. Now, when we talk about what happens after you get in, crashes, being disconnected, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, that is more annoying, for sure. But again, you know what you're getting into with these things. Part of these large rollouts, part of these betas is to test server capacity, server connections. How do we make sure everything that we've coded into is working correctly? And the best way to test it out is in some kind of live environment. And they want to test that in a safe environment where you didn't pay for it and the full game is out and you just got to deal with it. That's not the kind of environment that they wanted to. So this is that. And I get it. You paid money for it. But again, just like a concert, just like a sporting event, you know what you're getting into. The servers weren't there necessarily to mitigate wait times. It's also about the other stuff. By launch, it should be better, but there's still going to be wait times day one, probably day two also. Have patience. Trust me. The developers want you to play this. They don't want you waiting for hours and being disconnected. That's not what they want. But these are the growing pains of an online game with a huge player base. This is how it goes at this point. We've said these things, these talking points all the time. This is how it goes. So what was your experience like with the queue times? You know where to comment. It's YouTube. I have to tell you. Tap whatever thumb you like and subscribe to have more conversations on Diablo 4 and the latest in video game anything.